Welcome, friend. Tonight, we walk a quiet path together. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to solve or understand. Simply rest here, in this moment, as the world softens around you. Let your body sink deeper into comfort. Feel the weight of the day beginning to lift. Your breath moves gently, without effort, without thought. It has always known what to do. Tonight, you are held by stillness itself. The air is cool and kind. Somewhere beyond your window, the night unfolds in perfect silence. You need not follow it. You need only be here with yourself as you are. There is a candle burning somewhere in the mind. Its light is soft, unhurried, golden. It asks nothing of you. It simply glows. And in that glow, there is room enough for everything. All the thoughts that came today, all the worries that whispered through your hours, they are welcome here too. But they need not be answered. They need not be followed. They can rest just as you rest now. The breath moves in, the breath moves out, and between each breath there is space. That space has always been there. It has waited for you, patient and unchanged, through every season of your life. Tonight, you return to it, not by doing, but by releasing, not by thinking, but by allowing. Close your eyes if you have not already. Let the darkness be a comfort. It is not emptiness, but fullness, the kind of fullness that holds everything without grasping. There is a teaching older than memory. It lives not in books, but in the silence between words. It has been passed from hand to hand, heart to heart, across centuries. And tonight it comes to rest with you, not as instruction, but as company, not as demand, but as invitation. You are listening now, not to me, but to something deeper, something that has always spoken in your quietest moments, the voice that asks nothing, the presence that simply is. Let the night hold you. Let the breath carry you. Let the stillness remind you of who you have always been. Beneath every story, every name, every passing thought. In a time before clocks, before cities, there was a temple hidden among ancient trees. The temple was small and simple, built of wood that had darkened with age. Its floors creaked softly underfoot. Its walls held the scent of incense and rain. In this temple lived a monk whose eyes had been blind since birth. He had never seen the colour of dawn. He had never watched the seasons paint the mountainside. Yet he was known far beyond the valley for one rare gift. He was a master calligrapher. People travelled long distances to receive a scroll written by his hand. Each character he brushed was said to carry perfect balance, elegant and alive. When visitors arrived, they always asked the same question: how could someone who had never seen a single stroke of ink create such beauty? The monk would smile and say nothing. He would simply lift his brush. He would dip it in ink mixed fresh each morning, and he would begin. His hand moved without hesitation. Each line flowed from some place deeper than sight. The characters emerged not from memory, but from presence, from the feeling of the brush against paper, from the weight of silence in the room, from the breath moving through his body as his wrist turned. One autumn evening, a scholar arrived at the temple. He was young and sharp with learning. He had studied calligraphy for many years under famous teachers. He carried scrolls of his own work, eager to compare. When he saw the blind monk's characters, he was struck silent. They were flawless, more than flawless. They seemed to breathe. The scholar could not understand it. That night, he asked permission to stay. He wanted to learn the monk's secret. The monk agreed and gave him a place to sleep. but he offered no lessons. Each morning, the blind monk rose before dawn. He would sit in stillness for 1 hour. Then he would prepare his ink. Then he would write. The scholar watched every movement. He took notes. He measured the angle of the brush. He counted the seconds between strokes. Yet nothing he copied carried the same life. 1 week became 2. The scholar grew frustrated. Finally he spoke. "Master, I have watched you every day. I have seen how you hold the brush. I have learned every technique. Yet my work remains hollow. What am I missing?" The blind monk set down his brush. He turned toward the young man's voice. He said, "You are trying to see with your eyes, but the brush does not care what you see. It only knows what you feel." The scholar frowned. "I do not understand." The monk smiled. "When you write, what are you thinking about?" The scholar hesitated. "I think about the shape of the character, about proportion and balance, about making it correct." The monk nodded slowly. "And that is why your work has no breath. You are inside your head. But calligraphy does not live in the head. It lives in the body, in the space between heartbeat and release. When I lift my brush, I do not think. I listen." The scholar leaned forward. "Listen to what?" The monk was quiet for a long moment. "To the silence that holds everything. When the brush touches paper, I am not the one writing. The writing happens. I simply allow it. I feel the ink flow. I feel the texture of the fibre. I feel the air shift as my hand moves. There is no separation between the brush, the ink, the paper, and myself. We are one movement, one breath." The scholar sat back. He felt something shift inside him, something he had not felt before, a loosening. That night he did not study, he did not analyze. He simply sat in the temple, breathing. He let his thoughts rise and fall without chasing them. He listened to the rain tapping on the roof. He felt the stillness between each sound. The next morning he asked for a brush. The monk gave him one. The scholar closed his eyes. He breathed. He dipped the brush in ink. And for the first time, he did not try. He allowed. The character that appeared was not perfect, but it was alive. The monk touched the paper with his fingertips. He smiled. "Now you are beginning to see. Breathe with me now. Let the air enter slowly, filling your lungs with ease. Let it leave just as gently, carrying nothing away. There is no need to force this. The body already knows." That story carries something for you. Not an answer, but a question, a quiet one. Where in your life are you trying too hard to see? Where are you holding the brush so tightly that the ink cannot flow? Perhaps there is a part of you that believes stillness must be earned, that peace requires perfection, that you must think your way into calm. But the truth is softer than that. You do not create peace. You uncover it. It is already here, beneath the doing, beneath the trying. Like the blind monk, you too have been taught to trust your inner sense, not the voice that plans and judges, but the quieter one, the one that simply knows. It speaks in feelings, not in thoughts, in presence, not in control. Right now your breath is moving. You are not making it happen. It is happening through you. This is what the monk understood, that life flows best when we stop gripping, when we allow ourselves to be part of the movement rather than its master. You have spent so much of your life trying to see clearly, trying to understand, trying to make things right, and there is kindness in that effort. But tonight, you can rest from it. Tonight, you can close your eyes to the outer world, and in that closing, discover what was always present, the stillness that needs no light, the knowing that needs no proof. Feel your body now. Notice where you are holding tension, in your jaw, in your shoulders, in the space between your brows. You do not need to fix it, simply notice, and as you notice, let it soften, not because you are forcing it to, but because awareness itself is gentle. Because when we truly see something without judgment, it begins to release. This is the practice, not perfection, not control, just this, just breath, just presence, just the quiet recognition that you are here, that you are enough, that the brush is already in your hand and the ink is already flowing. In another time, in another temple, there lived a community of monks. They rose each morning before the sun. They swept the pathways. They tended the garden. They chanted ancient sutras that echoed through the wooden halls, and they cared for a cat. The cat was small and grey with green eyes. It had arrived one winter as a stray, thin and shivering. The oldest monk had taken it in. He fed it warm rice. He gave it a place by the fire, and the cat stayed. Over time, it became part of the temple's rhythm. During morning meditation, the cat would wander among the monks as they sat. It would brush against their robes. It would purr softly. Sometimes it would curl up on someone's lap. At first, this was tolerated. The monks practiced acceptance. They practiced patience. But as months passed, the cat became a distraction. During the deepest moments of silence, it would meow. During prostrations, it would weave between legs. During chanting, it would leap onto the altar and knock over offerings. The younger monks grew frustrated. They tried to ignore the cat. But the more they tried to focus, the more the cat seemed to disrupt. One of them finally spoke to the head monk. "Master, we cannot concentrate with the cat wandering freely. Perhaps we should keep it outside during meditation." The head monk considered this. Then he nodded. "You may try." So the next morning, the cat was placed outside before meditation began. The monks sat in perfect silence. There were no interruptions, no sudden movements, no purring or meowing. It was exactly as they had wanted, yet something felt wrong. After several weeks, the head monk noticed a change. The younger monks were more restless than before. They fidgeted. They glanced at the door. They seemed to be listening for something. One evening, the head monk asked them, "What is different now?" One monk spoke honestly. "I find myself thinking about the cat, wondering if it is cold, wondering if it is lonely. I am more distracted now than I was before." The other monks nodded. The head monk smiled. "So you have learned something. The distraction was never the cat. It was your resistance to the cat." Another monk asked, "Then what should we do?" The head monk said, "Bring the cat back inside. Let it wander. Let it purr. Let it be as it is. And you practice being as you are, not fighting, not controlling, just sitting, just breathing, just allowing life to move around you as it will." And so the cat returned. At first, the monks noticed every movement, every sound. But as days passed, something shifted. They stopped tensing when the cat approached. They stopped bracing for interruption. They simply sat. And the cat, sensing no resistance, grew calmer too. It would enter the hall and settle quietly in a corner. It would groom itself and fall asleep. Occasionally, it would still wander, still brush against someone. But now the monks would smile. They would rest a hand on its fur for a moment, then return to stillness. Without resistance, there was no distraction. Without control, there was peace. One day, a visitor came to the temple. He was a seeker, searching for teachings. He sat with the monks during their meditation. He noticed the cat sleeping near the altar. After the session, he approached the head monk. He said, "I have visited many temples. I have never seen one that allows a cat to roam during practice. Is this part of your teaching?" The head monk looked at the cat. Then he looked at the visitor. He said, "The teaching is not the cat. The teaching is that peace does not come from removing what disturbs you. It comes from no longer being disturbed." The visitor bowed. He understood. That night, as he prepared to leave, he heard the monks chanting. The cat was curled on the altar, unbothered by the sound. The visitor smiled. He realized he had been searching for a place without distractions, but what he needed was a mind that did not cling to disturbance, and that he knew could only be found within. Rest here for a moment. Feel how your body has softened since we began. Notice the quiet that has gathered around you. It is not empty. It is full of presence, full of space. That story speaks to something you already know. Life will always bring interruptions, noise, unexpected moments, things beyond your control. You have spent years trying to arrange circumstances so you can finally be at peace. But peace does not wait for perfect conditions. It exists in the middle of everything. Even now, there may be sounds around you, a distant hum, a creak in the walls, the rhythm of your own heartbeat, and you are learning, as the monks learned, not to resist, not to label these things as problems. They are simply here, just as you are simply here. Notice what happens when you stop fighting, when you allow the mind to wander like the cat, when you do not scold yourself for distraction, when you simply return gently again and again to this breath, this moment, this body resting. There is no failure in this, only practice, only the soft return, again and again. Each return is not a sign of weakness. It is the practice itself. The mind will wander, thoughts will come, and you will notice, and you will return. And in that returning, you are learning the deepest kind of peace, the kind that does not depend on silence, the kind that lives beneath all noise, beneath all movement, unchanging, patient, yours. Right now, you do not need to do anything. You do not need to fix anything. You do not need to become someone different. You can simply be, with all your thoughts, with all your imperfections, with all the wandering and returning. This is enough. You are enough. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands rest open. Let your breathing slow into its own natural rhythm. You are held here, not by effort, not by striving, but by something much older, much kinder. The same stillness that held the blind monk's brush, the same acceptance that made space for the temple cat. It holds you now, and it will hold you through the night. If these teachings bring you peace, you are welcome to subscribe and return whenever you wish to rest. This space is here, quiet and unchanging, waiting for you, always. There was once a great library built into the side of a mountain. Its halls were carved from stone. Its shelves stretched higher than lamplight could reach. Scrolls and texts from every corner of the world were gathered there. Scholars travelled for months to study within its walls. They came seeking wisdom, seeking truth, seeking answers to questions that had haunted them for years. The library was tended by a single caretaker. She was old, with silver hair and hands marked by decades of careful work. She knew every scroll, every passage, every hidden corner. She had devoted her life to preserving knowledge. She believed that within these walls lived the accumulated understanding of humanity, and she guarded it with reverence. One spring, word came that a fire had started in a distant village. The wind was strong, the flames were spreading. Within days, the fire reached the forest at the mountain's base. The caretaker watched smoke rise through the trees. She knew what was coming. Others fled the mountain. They urged her to leave, but she refused. She could not abandon the library. She could not let centuries of knowledge burn. So she stayed. She closed the great doors. She sealed the windows. She prepared herself. As the fire climbed closer, she sat in the centre of the main hall, surrounded by scrolls, surrounded by the words of poets and sages, surrounded by every teaching she had ever loved, and she wept, not for herself, but for all that would be lost. Yet, as the smoke began to seep through the cracks in the stone, something unexpected happened. The caretaker grew quiet. She stopped weeping. She looked around at the scrolls, at the books, at the manuscripts, and for the first time in her life, she truly saw them. They were paper, ink, binding. They were objects, impermanent, fragile, subject to flame and time and decay. And the wisdom they held, it was not trapped in the pages. It had always been alive in the people who read them, in the hearts that were touched, in the actions that followed. The library could burn, but the truth it pointed toward could not. That truth lived in awareness itself, in presence, in the same stillness she felt now, sitting in the smoke, breathing. She rose, she opened the doors, she walked out into the night. The fire reached the library the next morning. It burned for 3 days. When the flames died, nothing remained but stone and ash. Months later, the caretaker was found living at a small hut near a river. Travellers came to offer their condolences. They spoke of the great loss, the irreplaceable texts, the knowledge that was gone forever. She listened with kindness. Then she said, nothing was lost. They looked at her in confusion. But the library, all those teachings, she smiled. The teachings were never in the scrolls. They were in the reading, in the understanding, in the moment a heart opens. I spent my life believing I was protecting wisdom, but wisdom does not need protection. It is not a thing that can be kept or destroyed. It arises new in each moment, in every person who seeks it. The fire did not take anything. It only revealed what was always true, that we cannot hold on to anything, not knowledge, not beauty, not even life itself. And in that releasing, we find freedom. One traveller asked, "But do you not mourn?" The caretaker looked toward the river. She watched the water move over stones, endless and unhurried. She said, "I mourn the idea I once held, the idea that safety comes from preservation, that meaning comes from permanence. But now I see clearly, everything changes, everything passes, and in that passing there is no tragedy, only truth." The traveller sat beside her. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "So what do we do with what we love?" The caretaker smiled. "We love it fully, we honour it, we let it teach us, and then we let it go. Because holding on does not keep things alive. It only makes us afraid." The traveller nodded. He felt something loosen in his chest, something he had been carrying without knowing. That evening, he walked back down the mountain path. The library was gone, but he carried with him something the library could never hold, a living understanding, not written, not stored, but present, awake, moving through him like breath. Let yourself sink a little deeper now. Feel the surface beneath you holding your weight. You do not need to hold yourself. You are supported. completely. That story asks you to consider what you are trying to protect, what you believe you cannot lose. We spend so much of our lives building libraries, accumulating knowledge, collecting achievements, holding tightly to people and places and moments we treasure, and there is beauty in that care. But there is also fear that if we lose what we love, we will lose ourselves, fear that impermanence means meaninglessness. But the caretaker discovered something else. She discovered that the fire did not destroy wisdom, it revealed it, because wisdom is not a possession, it is a presence. It is what remains when everything else falls away. Right now you are breathing. That breath will end, another will come, and that one will end too. This is not loss, this is life, each breath complete in itself, not holding on to the last, not grasping toward the next, just this one, full and whole. You have been taught to fear impermanence, to see change as threat, but impermanence is not the enemy of meaning, it is the condition for it. If nothing ever changed, nothing could matter. It is because this moment will pass that it is precious, because this breath will not come again, because this night, this silence, this version of yourself exists only now. So what does it mean to love something fully? To honour it without clinging, to let it teach you without demanding it stay. Perhaps it means this, being here, truly here, not half present while your mind races ahead or lingers behind, but here, feeling the weight of your body, hearing the rhythm of your breath, noticing the thoughts that come and go like smoke, not trying to capture them, not trying to keep them, just watching, just allowing, just being with what is. This is the practice the caretaker learned, not in books, but in fire, in loss. In the moment she stopped protecting and started releasing. You do not need a fire to learn this. You can learn it now, here, in the gentleness of letting go, not of anything outside yourself, but of the tension inside, the grip, the belief that you must hold everything together. You do not. Life holds itself, breath breathes itself, the heart beats without your instruction. You are part of a movement much larger than control, and when you stop resisting that movement, when you stop trying to preserve and protect and keep everything frozen in safety, you discover something remarkable. You discover that you are free, not because nothing matters, but because everything matters in a new way, not as possession, but as presence, not as permanence, but as gift. Feel that now. Feel the gift of this moment, this body, this breath, this quiet. It is here, it is real, it is yours, and tomorrow it will be different, and that is not tragedy. That is life, continuing, unfolding, offering itself again and again, and you learning to receive it, learning to love it, learning to let it go. In a village surrounded by rice fields, there lived a potter. He was known for creating vessels of extraordinary beauty. His bowls were perfectly round. His vases held water without a single leak. His teacups fit the hand as if they had been shaped for that person alone. People came from neighbouring towns to buy his work. They displayed his pieces in places of honour. They spoke of him as a master. But the potter did not feel like a master. He felt only the weight of expectation. Each morning he would sit at his wheel. He would centre the clay. He would begin to shape it. And as he worked, his mind would fill with thoughts. Will this one be good enough? Will people approve? What if it cracks in the kiln? What if it is not as beautiful as the last? His hands, though skilled, were tense. His breath, though steady, was shallow. He He was no longer making pottery. He was trying to prove something. One season he travelled to a distant monastery. He had heard of a monk there who also worked with clay. But this monk did not sell his pieces. He did not sign them or display them. He simply made them, used them, and when they broke, he let them go. The potter asked to meet him. The monk welcomed him into a small workshop. There were shelves lined with simple bowls and cups. None of them were perfect. Some had uneven rims. Others had fingerprints pressed into the clay. A few were cracked. The potter frowned. He said, "Forgive me, but these do not seem like the work of a master." The monk laughed. "You are right. They are not. They are just bowls." The potter did not understand. "But you have trained for years. Why do you not make them beautiful?" The monk picked up a chipped cup. He ran his finger along the rough edge. He said, "I do make them beautiful, but my beauty is different from yours. You make beauty for others to see. I make beauty for myself to release." The potter sat down. He felt something stir in him, a question he had never asked. The monk poured tea into the chipped cup. He offered it to the potter. "Drink." The potter hesitated. Then he took the cup. The tea was warm. The cup fit his hand. The chip did not matter. The monk said, "When I sit at the wheel, I do not think about outcome. I think about touch, the feel of the clay, the coolness of it, the way it yields and resists. I am not trying to make something perfect. I am trying to be present with the making, and when the piece is finished, I use it. I enjoy it, and when it breaks, I thank it, because it served its purpose." The potter set down the cup. He felt tears rise. He said, "I have forgotten how to enjoy this. I have been so afraid of failing that I no longer feel the clay." The monk nodded. "Then perhaps it is time to fail." The potter looked up. "What?" The monk smiled. "Go to the wheel. Make something ugly. Make something that no one would buy. Make something that serves no purpose except to remind you why you began." The potter did not move at first. Then slowly he walked to the wheel. He sat. He took a lump of clay, and for the first time in years he did not think. He did not plan. He did not worry. He simply pressed his hands into the clay. He let it wobble. He let it lean. He let it become whatever it wanted to become. What emerged was strange, asymmetrical, rough, imperfect, and the potter laughed. He laughed so hard that tears ran down his face, because it was the most honest thing he had made in a decade. The monk stood beside him. He said, "Now you are remembering." The potter stayed at the monastery for a month. Each day he made vessels without attachment. Some were beautiful, some were not. It did not matter. He was learning to love the process more than the product. He was learning that mastery is not perfection, it is presence. When he returned to his village, his work changed. His pieces were still skillful, still elegant, but they carried something new, a looseness, a breath, a sense that they had been made by someone who was not afraid. People noticed. They said his new work had soul. The potter smiled. He knew what they meant. He had stopped making pottery to be seen. He was making it to be alive, and that made all the difference. Breathe deeply now. Let the air fill your belly, slow and soft. Let it leave without hurry. You are not performing this breath. You are simply noticing it, just as the monk noticed the clay, just as the potter learned to notice his hands. There is something here for you, a question that lives beneath the surface. Have you been creating your life or performing it? Have you been present with your days or trying to make them look right? There is no judgment in this question, only curiosity. only an invitation to notice. Perhaps you have been moving through your life the way the potter once moved through his work, skilled, capable, but tight, focused on outcome, on approval, on avoiding failure, and in that focus, losing touch with the feeling of being alive, with the texture of the moment, with the simple joy of participating. This is so common, so human. We are taught to succeed, to impress, to prove our worth through what we produce. But worth is not something we earn. It is something we are, beneath the doing, beneath the achieving, beneath the fear of falling short. You are already whole, already enough. The clay does not become valuable because it is shaped well. It is valuable because it exists, because it can be touched, because it can hold water or tea or light. And you too are valuable, not because of what you accomplish, but because you are here, because you feel, because you breathe. Let yourself feel that now, the simple fact of your existence, not as something to improve, not as something to justify, just as it is. You are lying here, you are resting, you are listening, and in this listening, you are enough. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to fix yourself. You do not need to create a perfect life. You need only to be present with this one, to touch it, to feel it, to let it move through you without gripping. This is what the potter learned, that the joy is not in the finished piece, it is in the making, in the feel of the clay yielding, in the wobble of the wheel, in the moment when control is released and something real emerges. Your life is the same. It is not a product to be judged. It is a process to be lived. And when you stop trying to make it perfect, you discover it was always beautiful, flawed, cracked, imperfect, and beautiful. Let your shoulders drop. Let your face soften. Let your hands rest open, palms up, receiving. You do not need to hold anything. You do not need to protect anything. You can simply be here, with all that you are, with all that you are not, with all that you are becoming, and it is enough. It has always been enough. There is a story told of a student who came to a teacher seeking enlightenment. The student was earnest, devoted. He had read every text. He had memorized every sutra. He could recite teachings with perfect accuracy. He came to the teacher and said, "I have studied for years. I have practiced diligently. Why have I not yet awakened?" The teacher looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "Tell me, when you sit in meditation, what do you do?" The student answered quickly, "I focus on my breath. I observe my thoughts. I cultivate mindfulness. I work to empty my mind of distraction." The teacher nodded. "And has this brought you peace?" The student hesitated. He said sometimes, "But often I feel I am failing. My mind wanders. My body aches. I become frustrated." The teacher smiled. "Then you are doing too much." The student looked confused. "But I am following the instructions. I am practicing as I was taught." The teacher said, "Yes, but you are practicing with effort, with striving, with the belief that peace is something you must achieve, and that belief is what stands in your way." She gestured for him to sit. She sat across from him. She said, "Close your eyes." The student did. She said, "Now, do nothing." The student frowned. "I do not understand." "Do nothing. Just sit. Just breathe. Do not try to focus. Do not try to observe. Do not try to cultivate or empty or improve. Simply be." The student tried, but within moments his mind filled with thoughts. He became aware of his posture, of his breath, of whether he was doing it right. He opened his eyes. He said, "I cannot do nothing. My mind will not stop. The teacher laughed gently. That is because you are still trying. You are trying to do nothing. But doing nothing is not an action. It is a release. The student was quiet. Then he asked, "How do I release?" The teacher said, "You stop believing that you are in control. You stop believing that peace is something you create. You recognize that peace is what remains when you stop creating, when you stop doing, when you stop becoming." She leaned forward. She said, "Right now, you are breathing. Are you making that happen?" The student thought. Then he said, "No, it happens on its own." The teacher nodded. "And your heart is beating. Are you controlling that?" "No." "And the sounds around you, the air, the light, are you producing those?" "No." "Then why?" the teacher asked. "Do you believe you must produce peace? Why do you believe you must work to be present? Presence is already here. It does not require effort. It requires only recognition." The student felt something shift, a softness, a letting go. He said, "So I do nothing." The teacher shook her head. "No, you are not doing nothing. You are being. Being does not require effort. It is the most natural thing. It is what you are when you are not trying to be anything else." The student sat with this. He closed his eyes again. This time he did not try. He did not focus. He did not cultivate. He simply sat, and the breath moved, and the heart beat, and the sounds rose and fell, and he was there, not doing, not becoming, just being. When he opened his eyes, the teacher was smiling. She said, "This is the practice, not effort, but ease, not control, but trust, not becoming, but being." The student bowed. He understood, not with his mind, but with his whole being. Peace was not something to be found. It was what he was when he stopped looking. Rest now. Let your whole body soften into stillness. Let your mind stop reaching, stop searching, stop trying to understand. You have been looking for peace as if it were somewhere else, somewhere distant, somewhere you must travel to. But it is here. It has always been here, beneath every thought, beneath every worry, beneath every moment of doubt. It is the silence that holds all sound, the stillness that allows all movement, the presence that never leaves. You do not need to become peaceful. You need only stop becoming. Stop trying to be different. Stop trying to be better. Stop trying to fix yourself into someone worthy of rest. You are already worthy. You have always been worthy. Not because of what you have done, not because of what you know, but because you exist, because you are here, because awareness itself is looking through your eyes, listening through your ears, breathing through your body. This awareness does not judge, does not strive, does not fear. It simply is, and you are that, beneath the name, beneath the story, beneath every role you have played. You are the awareness in which everything appears, the space in which thoughts arise and dissolve, the stillness in which the world moves, and this awareness needs nothing, wants nothing, lacks nothing. It is complete. Feel that completeness now, not as an idea, but as a felt sense, the sense that nothing is missing, that this moment, exactly as it is whole, the breath moving in and out, the body resting, the mind wandering and returning, all of it held in awareness, all of it allowed, all of it loved. You do not need to do anything with this. You do not need to remember it or hold on to it. Simply rest in it. Let it hold you. Let it remind you of what you have always been. Not the thoughts, not the worries, not the plans or the past, but the presence that watches all of it, the stillness that remains, the peace that needs no reason. This is your true nature. not something you achieve, but something you are, and it is here, now, always. There was once a village at the edge of the sea. The people there lived simply. They fished, they mended nets, they gathered around fires at night to share stories. Among them was a woman who had lived through great sorrow. She had lost her husband to illness, her son to the sea, her home to a storm. She had nothing left but the clothes she wore and the memories she carried. For years she moved through life like a shadow. She spoke little. She smiled rarely. She seemed to be waiting for something, waiting for life to return, waiting for the pain to end, waiting to feel whole again. One evening, a traveller came to the village. He was old and walked with a staff. He carried a small bundle and nothing more. The villagers offered him food and shelter. He accepted with gratitude. He stayed for several days. During that time, he noticed the woman. He saw how she held herself apart, how she moved through the days without presence, how her eyes looked past the world rather than at it. On the last evening, he approached her. She was sitting alone, watching the waves. He sat beside her without speaking. They remained that way for a long time. The sea rolled in, the sea rolled out. Finally, the traveller spoke. He said, "You are carrying something very heavy." The woman did not look at him. She said, "I have lost everything. There is nothing left for me here." The traveller nodded. He said, "May I tell you something I have learned?" She did not respond, but she did not leave. He continued. He said, "When I was young, I believed that life was something to be held. I held my youth, my strength, my loved ones, my dreams, and I held them so tightly that I did not notice when they began to slip away. And when they were gone, I felt betrayed. I felt that life had taken from me, that I had been robbed." He paused. He picked up a handful of sand. He let it sift through his fingers. He said, "But sand cannot be held. The tighter you grip, the faster it falls." And I realized that life is the same. It is not meant to be held. It is meant to be felt, to be lived, to be touched, and then released. The woman turned to him. She said, "But how can I release what I have already lost? How can I let go of what is gone?" The traveller smiled gently. He said, "You let go of the belief that you should still have it. You let go of the story that your life was meant to be different. You stop arguing with what is, and you begin to feel what is here, now, in this moment." The woman looked at the sea. She said, "But there is nothing here, only emptiness." The traveller shook his head. He said, "There is breath. There is the sound of waves. There is the feeling of sand beneath you. There is the sky darkening into night. There is this conversation. There is the fact that you are still alive, still capable of feeling, still here. That is not nothing. That is everything." The woman felt tears rise. She said, "But it hurts." The traveller nodded. "Yes, it hurts, because you loved deeply, because you cared, and that love does not disappear. It is still here, but it is not in the past. It is in you, in the capacity to feel, in the openness of your heart. And that openness, though painful, is also beautiful. It means you are alive." She wept then, quietly. The traveller did not try to comfort her. He simply sat. He let her feel. When the tears slowed, she said, "I do not know how to live with this." The traveller said, "You do not need to know. You only need to breathe, to take one step, to feel one moment, and then the next. And slowly, without trying, without forcing, life will move through you again. Not because you have forgotten, but because you have allowed." The next morning, the traveller left. The woman watched him go. She did not feel healed. She did not feel whole, but she felt something, a small opening, a willingness. That day she walked to the shore. She felt the sand beneath her feet. She listened to the waves. She did not try to feel better. She simply felt, and in that feeling, something ancient and wise began to move. Not happiness, not joy, but presence, the willingness to be alive, even in sorrow, even in loss, even in the not knowing. Days turned to weeks. She began to notice small things, the way light shifted on water, the sound of children laughing, the taste of bread. She did not cling to these moments. She let them come, let them go. And in that allowing, she discovered something unexpected, that life had not ended. It had only changed, and she was still here, still breathing, still capable of feeling the breeze on her skin, the warmth of sun, the coolness of evening. She was still part of the world, and the world in its quiet way was still offering itself to her, not as consolation, not as replacement, but as invitation to be here, to feel, to live. One evening she stood at the shore again. She looked at the sea that had taken her son, and instead of anger, she felt something softer. She said aloud, though no one was there to hear, thank you for letting me love him. Thank you for the years I had. Thank you for this pain, because it means I am still alive, still able to feel, still here. The sea did not answer, but the waves came, and the waves went, and she stood, and she breathed, and she was enough. Let yourself feel now, whatever is here, whatever has been carried. You do not need to push it away. You do not need to fix it. You do not need to make it smaller, or prettier, or easier. You can simply let it be. Let it move through you like the tide, rising, falling, never staying, never permanent. You have been taught that grief is something to overcome, that pain is something to solve. But what if it is not? What if pain is simply part of being alive, part of having loved, part of having cared? It does not mean something is wrong with you. It means you are human. It means you have lived, and that living, with all its tenderness and all its breaking, is sacred. You do not need to be strong all the time. You do not need to hold it together. You can let yourself soften, let yourself feel, let the tears come if they want to, let the breath shake, let the heart ache, because in that allowing, something heals, not by becoming perfect, but by being held, by being seen, by being allowed to exist exactly as it is. Right now, you are here, and here is enough. You are breathing, and breath is enough. You are feeling, and feeling is enough. You do not need to be anywhere else, do anything else, become anything else. You are already whole, not because you are healed, but because you are alive, and life, in all its complexity, in all its sorrow, in all its beauty, is complete. Feel the weight of your body. Let it be heavy. Let yourself sink. Let go of the need to rise, to perform, to keep going. You can rest. You can stop. You can be held by this moment, by this darkness, by this silence. And in that rest you will find what the woman found. Not an end to pain, but a willingness to live with it. Not a return to who you were, but a discovery of who you are, here, now, with everything you carry, with everything you have lost, with everything you still hold. You are here, and that is enough. In a monastery high in the mountains, there was a bell. It hung in the centre of the courtyard, beneath an open sky. The bell was old, its surface was dark with age. It was rung each morning before dawn. The sound would travel across the valley, clear, deep, resonant. The monks said the bell had a voice unlike any other. It did not simply make sound, it held silence. One winter, a new monk arrived. He was young, eager. He wanted to learn everything. He watched the elder monks carefully. He imitated their movements. He memorized their routines. But he struggled with one thing. He could not understand the bell. Each morning, when it was rung, the other monks would stop. They would close their eyes. They would stand in complete stillness, for minutes, sometimes longer. The new monk tried to do the same, but he did not feel what they felt. He heard the sound, but then it ended, and he was left waiting for something more. One day he asked the eldest monk, "What am I supposed to feel when the bell rings?" The elder smiled. He said, "You are not supposed to feel anything." The new monk frowned, but the others seemed to be experiencing something. The elder said, "They are not experiencing the bell. They are experiencing the silence after it." The new monk did not understand. The elder said, "Come, tomorrow morning you will ring the bell, and I will teach you." The next morning, before dawn, they stood together in the courtyard. The elder handed the new monk the mallet. He said, "Strike the bell." The new monk did. The sound rang out, bright and full. It echoed across the valley. Then it faded. The elder said, "What do you hear now?" The new monk listened. He said, "Nothing. It is quiet." The elder nodded. "Yes, and in that quiet, what is present?" The new monk paused. He did not know how to answer. The elder said, "The bell's purpose is not to make sound. Its purpose is to reveal silence. We do not listen to the bell. We listen to what the bell uncovers. The sound arises, the sound fades, and what remains is not absence, it is presence. It is the silence that was always here, the silence that holds everything." The new monk stood very still. He felt something shift, a deepening. The elder said, "Ring it again." The new monk struck the bell. This time he did not focus on the sound. He listened past it. He let it rise. He let it fall. And as it faded, he felt something open, a vastness, not empty, not hollow, but full of space, full of stillness, full of something he could not name but could feel completely. When the sound had fully dissolved, the elder asked, "What do you hear?" The new monk whispered, "Everything." The elder smiled. Yes, when we stop filling the world with noise, we discover that the world is not silent. It is singing, but its song is quiet, quieter than thinking, quieter than wanting, quieter than fear. He placed a hand on the new monk's shoulder. He said, "This is why we ring the bell, not to mark time, not to call people, but to remind ourselves to listen, to stop, to let the noise of our minds fade, and to hear what is always here." The new monk bowed. From that day on, when the bell rang, he did not try to feel anything. He simply listened, and in that listening, he found what he had been seeking, not in the sound, but in the silence, not in the doing, but in the being, not in the world, but in himself. Be still now. Let the world fade. Let the thoughts fade. Let even the sense of self fade. What remains? Not absence, not emptiness, but presence, pure presence. You have been listening to words, to stories, to sounds. But beneath all of that, there has been something else, something constant, something unchanging. It is the awareness that holds everything, the silence that allows sound, the space that contains movement, and it is not separate from you. It is you, the deepest you, the you that exists before thought, before name, before identity. Feel into that now, not with the mind, but with attention, with the softest, gentlest noticing. Where are you? Not the body, That is what you inhabit, not the thoughts. Those are what you witness, not the emotions. Those are what you feel. But you, the one who is aware, the one who is here, who are you? You are the stillness, the silence, the presence. You are what remains when everything else is released. And this presence is not small. It is not fragile. It is not something that can be damaged or lost. It is vast, infinite, eternal. It has no beginning and no end. It does not age, does not tire, does not fear. It simply is. And right now, you are resting in it. You have always been resting in it, even when you felt lost, even when you felt broken, even when you could not find peace. The peace was there, underneath, holding you, waiting for you to remember, to return, to recognize. This is the truth the bell was teaching. That sound arises from silence and returns to silence. That thought arises from stillness and returns to stillness. That life arises from presence and returns to presence. You are not the waves. You are the ocean. You are not the breath. You are the space in which breath moves. You are not the story. You are the awareness in which stories unfold. And this awareness needs nothing. It is complete. It is whole. It is peace itself. Let yourself rest here, not as someone seeking peace, but as peace itself, recognizing its own nature, not as effort, but as truth, not as becoming, but as being. Feel how everything softens, how the boundaries blur, how the separation between self and world begins to dissolve. There is no inside, no outside, only this, only here, only now. And in this now, there is no problem, no lack, no insufficiency. There is only presence. And presence is enough. It has always been enough. It will always be enough. The night deepens around you. The silence grows fuller. You do not need to follow any further. You do not need to understand. You do not need to remember. You need only rest. Let the body become heavy. Let the mind become quiet. Let the sense of effort dissolve. There is nothing more to do. Nowhere to go. No one to become. You are already home. You have always been home. The journey was only a forgetting, and this now is the remembering. The breath moves on its own. The heart beats on its own. The world continues on its own. And you, the awareness at the center, can rest, can release, can let go into the vastness that has always held you. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. Let the darkness be a friend. Let it wrap around you. Let it soften every edge, every boundary, every distinction, until there is only this, only presence, only peace. You are safe. You are held. You are loved, not by something outside yourself, but by the truth of what you are. And that truth is unchanging, unshakable, always here. So rest now. Let the stories fade. Let the teachings dissolve. Let even these words fall away. And simply be. Be the breath. Be the stillness. Be the silence. Be the peace. You are enough. You have always been enough. And the night is here to remind you, to hold you, to let you sleep deeply, peacefully, completely, without fear, without worry, without need. Just this, just breath, just being, just you, as you are, as you have always been, whole, free, at peace. Let go now, let everything go, and rest. Rest in the silence that holds all sound. Rest in the stillness that allows all movement. Rest in the presence that never leaves. Rest in yourself, and sleep. Sleep deeply. Sleep well. Sleep knowing you are held. And all is well. All is well. All is well.